From Arctic ghost tribes to space-gazing shamans and cloud cities, meet the most unbelievable tribes on Earth. In the far north of Australia, there's a land where ancient traditions live on as if time barely touched them. Arnhem Land is home to some of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth. The Aboriginal people here are the keepers of Dreamtime, a rich, powerful belief system that explains the creation of the world, the land, and everything that walks, swims, or flies. Their stories aren't just myths to them, they are living maps. Every rock, tree, and river carries meaning. Paths carved into the ground thousands of years ago still guide their movements today. Some paintings found on cave walls here are over 20,000 years old, and locals still know what each figure means. They don't see these artworks as ancient history. They are part of their everyday world. The people of Arnhem Land live deeply connected to nature. They hunt with handmade spears, fish using traditional methods, and gather bush foods from landscapes most outsiders would call harsh. Instead, they see it as abundant. Every plant and animal fits perfectly into their way of life. One of the most incredible sights is the ceremonial dances. Dressed in striking body paint and feathers, they move with a rhythm that feels both primal and impossibly graceful. The dances retell ancient stories, passing knowledge across generations without a single written word. In Arnhem Land, history breathes in every heartbeat. Far from Australia's ancient rock paintings, deep in the rugged hills of Sudan, lives a community that treats the body like a living canvas. The Nuba people are famous for their stunning body art and legendary wrestling matches. Covered head to toe in white, yellow, or red earth pigments, they transform themselves into walking works of art. Every swirl and pattern tells a story of family, land, or personal strength. Wrestling here isn't just a sport, it's a major event that draws entire villages together. Competitors train for months, building strength under the hot African sun. When they meet in the arena, it's a test of skill, speed, and pride. Victory is celebrated with traditional songs and dances, but defeat never carries shame. For the Nuba, these contests are about honoring their ancestors and sharpening their bodies and minds. Their homes, tucked into rocky cliffs, blend perfectly into the dry, golden landscape. Life here demands resilience. Crops are grown in small, hand-tilled fields and herds are protected fiercely. Even under intense heat, the Nuba people keep their traditions alive, balancing a tough lifestyle with moments of vivid celebration. And now, from the dusty arenas of Sudan, we dive into the endless waters of Southeast Asia. If the Nuba mastered the land, the Moken people have mastered the sea. Known as the Sea Gypsies, they spend most of their lives on small boats, drifting between islands off the coasts of Thailand and Myanmar. To them, the ocean isn't a boundary, it's home. Children here learn to swim before they even learn to walk. Some Moken can hold their breath underwater for minutes, diving for fish and shellfish without any special gear. Their connection to the sea is so deep that they can spot changes in watercolor and currents that most others would miss. This sharp awareness once saved entire Moken communities during massive waves, as they recognized the signs and moved to safety before disaster struck. Traditional Moken boats, called kabangs, are handcrafted from wood without using nails. Life on these boats is simple but rich, fishing, cooking, telling stories under open skies. During certain seasons, some Moken temporarily settle on land, building small bamboo homes before returning to the waves. Their way of life, free from the noise of the modern world, feels almost like a memory from a different time. But now, let's head far north, where ice and mystery hide an Arctic tribe few have even heard of. At the edge of the known Arctic, on the frozen lands of Canada's Southampton Island, once lived a people so isolated that even neighboring Inuit knew little about them. They were the Sadlermiut, a group whose customs, language, and way of life seemed frozen in time. No one knew exactly where they came from. Some thought they were the last survivors of an ancient culture, untouched by outside hands. Living in stone and sod houses, they adapted to brutal winters in ways that almost seemed impossible. Their tools, made of bone and stone, were simple but perfectly suited to the icy world around them. The Sadlermiut relied on seal hunting, fishing, and gathering what little the tundra could offer. They moved across the ice in small, determined groups wrapped tightly in furs, always working together to survive the cold that could snap at any moment. Unlike other Arctic groups, the Sadlermiut kept their distance from visitors. They rarely traded, avoided outsiders, and held on to their old ways stubbornly. Even their clothing styles and hunting methods stayed unique, untouched by nearby innovations. To this day, researchers puzzle over exactly who they were. In a world rushing forward, the Sadler mutes stood still, guarding their mysteries until the very end. High in the misty mountains of Peru lived a people the Spanish conquerors called the Chachapoya, the Cloud Warriors. They earned their name because their villages floated above the clouds, hidden in thick forests and perched along sheer cliffs. To survive in such a wild landscape, the Chachapoya became master builders. They carved out stone cities, built tall towers, and created massive cliffside tombs that still puzzle archaeologists today. Unlike the desert-dwelling civilizations of ancient Peru, the Chachapoya thrived in lush green cloud forests. They grew crops on steep mountainsides, wove fine textiles and crafted pottery decorated with bold, haunting faces. Even their burial practices were unique. Instead of hiding graves underground, they placed their dead in sarcophagi shaped like human figures, standing proudly on ledges hundreds of feet above the valleys below. The Chachapoya didn't just build impressive cities, they were fierce fighters. Protected by fog and treacherous terrain, they resisted outsiders for centuries. Even when absorbed into the expanding Inca Empire, they kept much of their identity intact. Today, traces of their cities like Cuelap, a massive fortress high above the clouds, still stand as silent witnesses to a world that few outsiders ever saw. And speaking of hidden worlds, let's head north, deep into the thick jungles of Mexico, where another ancient culture still beats quietly among the trees. In the dense green heart of Mexico's Chiapas jungle, where rivers twist like snakes and trees block out the sun, lives the Lacandan Maya, one of the last communities holding on to ancient Maya traditions. While most of the Maya cities fell centuries ago, and many Maya descendants adapted to city life, the Lacandan stayed hidden in the forests, guarding secrets of survival known only to them. They live in small, isolated groups, growing maize and gathering fruits from the rainforest. Hunting is done with simple bows and arrows, and their houses are made from wood and palm leaves, blending almost invisibly into the jungle. Their traditional clothing is simple long white tunics that seem to reflect the surrounding light, making them look like ghosts among the trees. The Lacandan have a deep spiritual connection to the forest. They believe that every tree, river and animal holds a spirit, and rituals are performed to maintain balance with the natural world. In some places, ancient Maya temples still stand nearby, swallowed by vines and roots. The Lacandan see them not as ruins but as living places, still pulsing with energy from their ancestors. Through centuries of storms, change and outside pressure, the Lacandan managed something almost no one else did. They kept their world hidden, intact and alive, under the green cover of the jungle. In the dry, rocky cliffs of Mali, the Dogon people built a world that seems woven between earth and sky. Their villages cling to stone walls, their houses stacked like ancient steps toward the heavens. But what really captured global attention wasn't their architecture. It was their knowledge of the stars. Long before telescopes could see it, the Dogon spoke of Sirius B, a tiny star invisible to the naked eye. They described it as a heavy, dense companion to the bright Sirius star. They even knew it had an elliptical orbit, a fact confirmed by modern science only in the 20th century. How did they know? Some suggest ancient contact with unknown travelers, others believe the knowledge was passed down from an earlier, lost civilization. The Dogon themselves say it's part of their sacred teachings. Beyond the stars, their everyday life is just as fascinating. The Dogon carve elaborate wooden masks, each used in ceremonies that honor spirits and ancestors. Their mask dances bring whole villages together, the movement and colors retelling stories older than memory. Farming millet on rocky ground, they coax life out of one of the harshest landscapes on Earth, just as they coax hidden meanings out of the sky. Now, we leave the dry cliffs behind and descend into one of the world's wildest jungles, where homes don't touch the ground at all. Deep in the rainforests of Papua New Guinea lives a tribe that built their entire world high above the jungle floor. The Korowai people are famous for living in massive tree houses, some perched over 90 feet above the ground. These towering homes keep them safe from floods, animals, and according to old beliefs, from dangerous spirits roaming below. Every treehouse is a masterpiece of engineering without a single nail or metal part. Made from branches, vines, and sago palm leaves, they are built almost entirely by hand. Families move quickly up notched poles to reach their homes, balancing with an ease that looks impossible to outsiders. Life among the treetops means seeing the world from a different angle. the jungle as an endless green sea stretching beyond the horizon. The Korowai grow bananas and sago, hunt with bows and fish in muddy rivers, using skills passed down for generations. Storytelling is vital, with myths about the spirits of the forest guiding their daily life. Despite their isolation, the Korowai have adapted quickly to certain outside influences, balancing ancient ways with carefully chosen changes. High above the ground, surrounded by endless green, the Korowai prove that sometimes survival depends on thinking vertically, not just forward. In one of the most remote Arctic valleys, a team of scientists made a discovery that stunned the world. Beneath layers of ancient ice, they found the remains of what appears to be a massive migration, thousands of figures frozen in motion. Nearby, strange artifacts and carvings depict fierce warriors with sharp features and elaborate body markings, completely unlike any known Arctic cultures. Genetic analysis hints at a long-lost branch of humanity, raising more questions than answers. Who were they, and how did an entire civilization vanish without a trace? It is still unknown. In the holy city of Varanasi, India, by the slow-moving waters of the Ganges River, lives a group whose way of life challenges almost every idea of comfort and fear. They are the Aghori monks. Mystics who seek purity by facing the things most people run from. Where others see decay and darkness, the Aghori see a path to enlightenment. Their practices are built on the belief that everything in the world, no matter how uncomfortable, is part of the divine. Instead of turning away from what is considered impure, they embrace it fully. They live among ancient riverbanks, meditate in isolated places, and cover themselves in ash from sacred fires. Their appearance is striking: bodies dusted in gray, necklaces made from symbolic beads, and deep eyes that seem to look far beyond the surface of things. The Aghori challenge the idea of fear by living without traditional comforts. They often renounce family ties, material possessions, and even conventional homes. Their days are spent meditating, chanting, and connecting deeply with the world around them. To them, true freedom comes not by avoiding the difficult parts of life but by walking straight through them without flinching. Deep in the dense jungles of Ecuador lives the Huaorani, a people whose bond with the rainforest is so complete that they are often called its fierce guardians. For generations, the Huaorani lived almost entirely isolated, moving silently through the green maze of trees and rivers. Their knowledge of the Amazon is unmatched. They know which plants heal, which rivers hide fish, and which paths are safe when storms roll in. Traditionally, Huaorani hunted with long blowguns and handmade spears, moving with such skill that they could seem almost invisible among the trees. Their villages are small and built to blend into the forest, with homes made from wood and palm leaves. Every step they take through the jungle carries the weight of generations of survival knowledge. Language among the Huaorani is rich and full of unique words for the endless shades of green around them. Stories are passed from one generation to the next, not with books, but through songs, dances, and oral traditions. In recent years, some Huaorani have chosen to interact more with the outside world, while others still remain deep within the forest, choosing the old ways. From the tangled jungles of the Amazon, we now travel across continents to the snowy edges of Europe, where a different kind of nomadic life has endured for thousands of years. Across the sweeping, snowy landscapes of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and parts of Russia, the Sami people have lived for centuries, thriving where the winters are long and the sun barely rises. Unlike most Arctic groups tied closely to the sea, the Sami turned inland, building a life around one of the most iconic animals of the north, the reindeer. For the Sami, reindeer are more than just animals. They are essential companions, providing transport, food, and clothing. Traditional Sami clothing, called gakti, is brightly colored, detailed with patterns that often tell where a person's family comes from. During festivals, the sight of Sami herders dressed in gakti guiding hundreds of reindeer across snowy fields is something unforgettable. Their homes, called lavu, are shaped like teepees and designed to withstand brutal Arctic winds. Inside, fires burn through long, dark winters, keeping families warm while stories are shared about ancestors, spirits, and the ancient forces of nature. Even today, many Sami maintain strong traditions of reindeer herding, fishing, and crafting. Hidden deep in the rugged forests of Palawan Island, the Batak people live a life shaped by the rhythms of the land. Their name means mountain people, and it fits perfectly. They are among the smallest and oldest indigenous groups in the Philippines, with traditions stretching back thousands of years. The Batak survive by blending hunting, gathering and farming in ways that feel almost invisible to outsiders. They know which tree bark can heal a fever, where the rivers will offer the best catch, and how to move quietly through thick jungle without disturbing the forest's deeper life. Their connection to nature isn't just practical, it's spiritual. Every stream, rock, and old tree is believed to hold a spirit. Before hunting or gathering, the Batak often perform small ceremonies to ask permission from the unseen guardians of the forest. Their homes are built from bamboo and palm leaves, light enough to be moved if needed. In Batak culture, community ties are everything. Decisions are made together, and survival depends on sharing knowledge, food, and protection. Even today, despite pressures from modern life, many Bataks still pass down ancient survival skills to their children, teaching them not just how to live in the forest, but how to live with it. Deep within the thick rainforests of Ecuador and northern Peru lives the Shuar, a people long known for their unmatched connection to the jungle and their incredible warrior traditions. Among all indigenous groups of the Amazon, the Shuar stand out for a very unusual practice that captured global imagination. They are known as the last people to create ceremonial shrunken trophies from their enemies, though today this ritual is no longer practiced. The Shuar's true strength, though, lies in how deeply they understand the jungle around them. Their homes are hidden beneath towering trees, their paths invisible to outsiders. They hunt with blowguns and spears, gather fruits, and use powerful medicinal plants known only to them. Every step they take is careful, learned over generations of surviving in one of the world's most intense environments. The Shuar see the forest as a living, breathing world. Spirits are said to dwell in rivers, trees, and animals. Their rituals, from dances to chants, are ways to keep harmony between people and the natural world. Even their traditional face paintings are not just for beauty, they mark important stages of life and battles fought. Now, leaving the hidden trails of the Amazon behind, we journey north into icy wilderness, where reindeer herders still follow ancient paths across endless white landscapes. Tucked away in the forests of Sri Lanka, the Vedas live a life that has changed little over thousands of years. They are considered the island's oldest indigenous people, with roots reaching back before recorded history. Even today, the Veda communities keep close ties to the forests, rivers, and caves that have shaped their traditions. Traditional Veda life revolves around hunting, gathering, and simple farming. They move lightly through the jungle, skilled in using bows and arrows to hunt deer and small game. They also collect honey, a food prized not only for its sweetness but for its spiritual importance. Honey gathering trips are often accompanied by chants asking the forest spirits for safe passage. Their homes are basic but perfectly adapted to their environment. Simple huts made from wood and leaves, offering shelter during the island's heavy rains. Language among the Vedas was once entirely their own, though today many speak Sinhala, while still holding onto ancient words and expressions. Storytelling remains vital. Around evening fires, elders pass down the myths of creation, the deeds of great ancestors, and lessons about living with respect for nature. The Vedas show that survival isn't just about fighting the wild, it's about living as part of it. Deep in the dense green heart of the Amazon, the Yanomami people live almost entirely cut off from the modern world. Straddling the borders of Brazil and Venezuela, they have called the rainforest home for centuries. Their villages, called chabonos, are massive communal structures built from wood and palm leaves, housing dozens of families under one giant roof. Life under the chabono is built on sharing, food, stories, and protection from the wild. The Yanomami are expert hunters using bows and arrows tipped with natural poisons, and they cultivate gardens that burst with bananas, manioc, and tropical fruits. They have an astonishing knowledge of the forest's hidden pharmacy, using plants to heal wounds, ease fevers, and even calm restless spirits. Spiritual life among the Yanomami is rich and layered. Shamans, guided by the spirits of the forest, help maintain the balance between humans and nature. Every living thing is part of the great web of life, a belief that shapes how the Yanomami hunt, gather, and raise their children. Their existence shows that true survival isn't just about taking from the land, but about listening to it. In the dense, tangled forests of Ecuador's Yasuni National Park, a people live almost completely unseen, the Taramanain. They are one of the last uncontacted tribes in the world, moving silently through the trees, avoiding roads, plains, and any sign of the outside world. Few have even glimpsed them, and even fewer have earned their trust. The Taramanan build their shelters from fallen trees and woven leaves, moving often to keep ahead of threats and to follow the forest's rhythms. They hunt monkeys and birds with blowguns, fish in hidden streams, and gather fruits from towering trees. Everything they need comes from the rainforest. Unlike many tribes who have opened small windows to the modern world, the Taramanan have chosen complete isolation. They communicate through signs, sounds, and a language that remains almost entirely undocumented. Their decision to remain hidden protects them, not just from disease but from losing a way of life that has lasted for generations. They are living proof that deep within the modern world, there are still mysteries untouched by time. Across the frozen tundras of northern Siberia, where temperatures drop below -50 degrees Fahrenheit, and daylight can vanish for months, the Nenets people have mastered survival against the odds. For generations they have followed the migration of their reindeer herds across thousands of miles, moving with the seasons in a rhythm older than recorded history. Their homes, called chum, are round tents made from reindeer hides stretched over wooden poles. In a landscape where trees are rare and snow dominates the horizon, these portable shelters offer warmth, light, and a center for family life. Moving across ice-crusted rivers and endless white plains, the Nenets guide their herds with a skill passed down for centuries, reading subtle changes in the wind and snow the way sailors read the sea. Reindeer are everything. They provide clothing, transport, food, and even the material to build shelter. Children learn early how to ride, herd, and care for these vital animals. Life here is hard, but it is rich in traditions. Colorful festivals, songs sung under vast skies, and ceremonies asking the spirits for safe passage through winter storms. The Nenets show that even in the coldest, harshest corners of the planet, life can not only survive, it can thrive, carrying forward stories, songs, and hope across frozen lands. In the misty highlands of Papua New Guinea, there lives a tribe that takes grooming to an entirely new level. Meet the Huli Wigman Proud Warriors who literally grow their own ceremonial wigs from their hair. These aren't just any wigs. We're talking towering, rounded hairpieces carefully shaped, adorned with bird feathers, and worn like royal crowns. It's not a costume, it's identity, pride, and power rolled into one. From a young age, Huli boys are taught how to care for their hair. Once they reach adolescence, they enter a secluded camp where they begin the meticulous process of growing and preparing their hair for its transformation. During this time, they avoid touching their hair with their hands, using only bamboo combs and water collected in banana leaves. When the hair grows long and strong enough, it's cut, shaped into the perfect arc, and dried in the sun. These wigs aren't tossed together in a day. Crafting one can take months. And yes, the final piece is a true badge of honor. The most prized wigs are saved for important rituals and gatherings. Some Huli men even make multiple wigs, one for daily life and others for grand displays. To top it off, they decorate them with plumes from the bird of paradise, a creature just as colorful and extravagant as their culture. These headpieces rise up like helmets, giving the wearer a larger-than-life appearance. It's a natural form of self-expression that stands out even in a world full of wild fashion trends. What makes it all the more fascinating is the purpose behind the wigs. For the Huli, these aren't just fashion. They symbolize transformation and masculinity. Growing your own wig shows discipline and patience. Wearing one tells the world you've come of age. In a way, it's their version of a graduation cap, just way more epic and handmade. Far from any telescope or science lab, in the cliffs of Mali lives the Dogon tribe, a group that stunned the modern world with their knowledge of the stars. What makes them so unusual? Long before modern astronomers confirmed it, the Dogon described in detail a hidden star, Sirius B, an ultra-dense companion to Sirius that can't be seen without a telescope. According to the Dogon, this wasn't just a guess, it was part of their oral history, passed down through generations. This cosmic knowledge isn't kept in books. It's woven into dances, masks, and sculptures. The Dogon use elaborate ceremonies to express their view of the universe, dressing in layered outfits and towering masks that stretch over 6 feet tall. Some say these rituals are purely cultural, others still whisper about a possible lost connection to something beyond this world. Whatever the truth, the visuals are stunning. Rows of dancers moving in sync, their masks painted in earth tones and stars, turning every gathering into a moving, breathing galaxy. But while the Dogon looked to the skies, another tribe in Papua, keeps its eyes on the past, and even keeps its ancestors close. In the Baliam Valley of Papua, the Dani people have developed one of the world's most visually intense traditions. Here, history isn't locked in books or museums, it's preserved in full view. The Dani mummify important ancestors using smoke, carefully treating the bodies over an open flame until they become dry, dark, and almost statue-like. These mummies are kept in the village, not hidden away, and are even brought out for special events, wearing traditional gear and headpieces made from feathers and boar tusks. But there's more to Dani culture than mummification. Their beauty standards are as bold as their ceremonies. Men often wear koteka, a long, decorated gourd worn over the genitals, secured with string and worn with pride. Each one is shaped differently, and in some cases men personalize them to show off their style or status. For the Dani, strength and bravery are core values, and these are reflected in their appearance. Ritual mock battles, once used to settle disputes, now draw travelers who watch in awe as warriors clash in full tribal wear. The Dani show us a world where tradition is never just in the past. It's right there, standing tall in the center of the village. Deep in the foggy valleys of Papua New Guinea, the Asaro tribe has mastered the art of being unforgettable. Their look is like something out of a dream, or, honestly, a nightmare. They cover themselves in white clay from head to toe and wear these eerie, oversized masks with gaping mouths and bulging eyes. Now, it's not just for show. According to legend, way back when, their enemies were superstitious and feared spirits, so the Asaro started appearing like ghosts from the mist to scare them away. And, well, it actually worked. What started out as a survival tactic became a full-blown tradition. Today, the Mudmen still put on their ghostly outfits for cultural events and festivals. The masks? They're handcrafted from clay, often decorated with spikes or horns to make them even more chilling. Unlike other tribes where color explodes from feathers and beads, the Asaro keep it minimal and pale. Their beauty standard is all about the shock factor, becoming something otherworldly. And it's this unique take on self-presentation that makes them stand out, not just in Papua but all over the world. There's no dancing or loud drumming in their performance. The Mudmen move slowly, deliberately, almost like statues that just decided to take a stroll. Every step is calculated, every gesture silent, but wow, so powerful. It's this contrast, total stillness, mixed with the raw power of their look, that really grabs attention. In a world where loud usually wins, the Asaro prove that sometimes the quietest presence can make the biggest impact. In the dense green heart of the Brazilian Amazon, the Satere Mav tribe carries out one of the most intense manhood rituals on earth. And trust me, it's not just symbolic. To prove they're ready to enter adulthood, young boys have to wear gloves filled with bullet ants. And these aren't just regular insects. Bullet ants are famous for having one of the most powerful stings of any creature, described as feeling like fire running through your veins. But here's the twist. The gloves are woven from leaves with dozens of ants woven into the lining, stingers facing inward. The boys have to slide their hands inside and keep them there for several minutes, all while dancing to traditional music. Oh, and they do this not once but multiple times throughout their lives. And it's not really about pain, it's about showing resilience, endurance, and being in control of your body and spirit. In Satera Mavi culture, these are the traits that define true strength. The ritual is deeply respected in the tribe. It's watched by elders, cheered by families, and remembered for a lifetime. The boys who make it through don't just earn pride, they earn a place among the adults, along with these elaborate feathered headdresses and body paint that marks their new status. Here, beauty standards aren't about looks, but about what you've endured. In a world obsessed with comfort and convenience, the Satera Ma remind us that sometimes people still choose the hard path because it means something real. In the dry, rugged landscapes around Lake Eyasi in northern Tanzania lives one of the last truly wild tribes on Earth, the Hadza. While most of us are glued to phones and clocks, the Hadza live entirely off the land, guided by the rhythm of nature. They hunt with hand-carved bows, gather wild berries, dig for tubers, and sleep under the stars. No crops, no permanent houses, and definitely no written schedules. Their lifestyle hasn't changed in thousands of years, and honestly, that's what makes them so fascinating. Hadza men are lean, agile hunters. They coat their arrows with natural poisons from desert plants, and they can track animals for miles without any maps or GPS. The women? they're expert foragers. With babies strapped to their backs, they dig up roots and gather fruit with a speed and precision that would put any trained survivalist to shame. Their strength and beauty are in their adaptability, in how they move, think, and live with the land, not against it. Unlike many modern cultures, the Hadza don't hoard. They take what they need and share it with the group. They don't value possessions, they value skill, laughter, and connection. Their clothing is simple, often made from animal hide or fabric traded with nearby groups. Yet, there's something effortlessly stylish about the way they wear their life experience. Every scar, every calloused hand tells a story. In a world racing toward artificial intelligence and virtual reality, the Hadza stand as living proof that humans can still thrive with nothing but instinct, knowledge, and nature. Every year, in a remote corner of Ethiopia's Omo Valley, the Bodhi tribe holds a competition unlike anything else in the world. Forget six-packs and gym selfies. Here the prize goes to the man who gets the fattest. That's right. Among the Bodhi, size equals strength. And once a year, young bachelors enter a months-long race to gain as much weight as possible. And it's not just for show. The winner earns massive respect and becomes the tribe's most eligible man. All eyes, especially from the women, are on him. How do they do it? These men drink a special mix made from cow blood and fresh milk, chugging it several times a day. They're not allowed to move much either. The goal is to gain pure mass, so they stay in huts focusing only on eating, drinking, and resting. As the ceremony nears, the anticipation builds. Families watch closely, rivalries heat up, and when the big day arrives, it's time to show off. Wearing nothing but decorative beads and traditional body paint, the contenders step into the open, stomachs protruding proudly. There are chants, clapping, and laughter, but the atmosphere is serious. The judges, including elders and women from the tribe, observe every detail. The biggest man, the one who's transformed himself the most, becomes a symbol of beauty, wealth, and strength. It's a title that sticks for life. This ritual flips modern beauty standards on their head. Here, larger bodies aren't mocked, they're celebrated, and women do notice. A winning man often attracts more romantic attention and can build stronger social ties within the tribe. In a global culture obsessed with losing weight, the Bodhi offer a rare, bold contrast. Here, gaining weight is the ultimate achievement. Tucked deep within the Amazon rainforest of Bolivia, lives a tribe whose lifestyle might just hold the secret to long life. The Tsimane people don't go to the gym, follow strict diets, or wear fitness trackers, yet scientists have found they have the healthiest hearts ever recorded. Seriously, their arteries stay so clean and unclogged that many Saman in their 70s show the heart health of someone half their age. What's their secret? Movement, lots of it. Saman men spend their days hunting with handcrafted bows or fishing in winding rivers. Women forage, farm, and walk long distances every day. There are no cars, no screens, and absolutely no sitting for hours scrolling through feeds. Their bodies are shaped by their routines, lean, strong, and always in motion. It's not just about looking fit, it's about being in sync with the natural world and living with purpose every day. Their diet is just as fascinating. The Tsimane eat what they grow and catch: fish, bananas, corn, nuts, and the occasional wild meat. There's no sugar-loaded snacks, no processed foods. Everything they consume comes directly from the forest or their fields. And it shows, not just in their health, but in their skin, posture, and physical grace. Their appearance is a reflection of function, of living a life shaped by survival and balance. Unlike beauty trends that change with every season, the Saman live with standards that have barely changed in centuries. In their world, the most attractive traits are endurance, ability, and resilience, and somehow, without trying, they've become living proof of what the human body is capable of when it's pushed by nature, not machines. In the blazing heat of southern Tunisia, where the sun beats down with no mercy, some people have found a cool, creative way to live, literally underground. The Matmata Berbers have carved their homes deep into the earth, creating entire dwellings beneath the desert surface. From above, these homes are almost invisible. But step down through the carved entrance and you'll find shaded courtyards, cozy rooms, and walls shaped by hand over generations. These cave homes aren't just cool in temperature, they're beautifully practical. Dug from soft sandstone, each house stays naturally cool during the day and warm at night. The central courtyard lets in light and air, while tunnels lead to kitchens, bedrooms, and even storage rooms. It's a brilliant blend of tradition and survival. And it's not just about function. The smooth, rounded walls are often painted white or decorated with handmade items, giving each home its own personality. The people here have turned simplicity into a style of its own. Women wear bright headscarves, silver jewelry and long robes that stand out against the beige earth. The way they live, dress, and move reflects a slow, thoughtful rhythm of life that contrasts sharply with the fast pace of the modern world. There's a quiet beauty in their traditions, one that comes not from wealth or trends but from knowing how to live in harmony with the environment. You might recognize these cave homes even if you've never been to Tunisia. Some were used as filming locations for sci-fi movies, but for the locals, this isn't fiction, it's home. High above the forest floor in the thick jungles of West Papua, the Kambai people live in houses that would terrify anyone with a fear of heights. These aren't huts on stilts, they're full homes built in the canopies, sometimes over 50 feet above ground. Why? Well, it's all about safety. Up there, wild animals and intruders can't reach them, and it turns out the view is pretty incredible too. Building these tree houses takes serious skill. The Kambai use vines, sharpened sticks, and wooden beams, no nails, no metal tools. The structures are balanced on branches and held together by tight lashings. Floors are made from sago palm, and the roofs are thick enough to keep out the jungle rain. What's amazing is how casually they move up and down, climbing vines like it's second nature. For the Kambai, this vertical life is just normal. Their days are spent hunting pigs, birds, and fish with bows and spears. The men wear narrow strips of bark cloth, while women wrap themselves in woven skirts. There's beauty in their simplicity, in how their lives are shaped by what they can make with their own hands. Children learn to climb and hunt early, joining their families and gathering food from the forest below. To outsiders, their homes might look like something from a fantasy film, but for the Kambai, it's everyday life, high up in the trees, surrounded by birdsong, wind, and endless green. In the wide, sun-baked plains of Kenya and Tanzania, the Maasai stand tall, literally. Known for their vibrant red shukas, intricate beadwork, and unmistakable presence, they are one of the most recognizable tribes in Africa. But there's one tradition that truly lifts them above the rest, the jumping dance, known as adumu. It's not just for fun. Among the Maasai, jumping high is a sign of strength, youth, and appeal. And during these ceremonies, women are watching closely. The dance takes place during warrior ceremonies where young men form a circle and take turns leaping into the air with straight posture, barely bending their knees. The higher the jump, the more impressed the crowd. It's a chance to show energy, health, and vitality, all key qualities in a potential partner. And yes, women often choose their future husbands during these events, making every leap count. But the beauty standards here go far beyond jumping. Maasai men and women take pride in their appearance. Men often shave their heads and wear jewelry made from beads, metal, and even lion's mane, for those who've proven their bravery. Women stretch their earlobes and stack colorful bead necklaces that sparkle in the sun. These accessories aren't random. Each color and pattern tells a story of age, status, and family ties. In a modern world filled with filters and fast trends, the Maasai remain grounded in centuries-old rituals. Their elegance is raw, their pride is visible, and their way of life continues to thrive under the open sky. On the banks of the Ganges River in the sacred city of Varanasi, a small sect of Hindu monks lives far from the norms of everyday society. They are the Aghori Sadhus, a group that has fascinated and puzzled people for centuries. Covered in ash, draped in minimal clothing or none at all, with long matted hair and intense stares, they walk the line between the spiritual and the surreal. The Aghori reject worldly attachments in every form. For them, beauty lies not in appearance but in complete detachment. They smear their bodies with cremation ash, wear beads made from bones, and meditate near riverside pyres. To outsiders, their appearance might seem shocking, but for the Aghori, these choices reflect a philosophy that nothing is impure, not even death. They believe in the unity of all things, breaking down the barriers between the sacred and the taboo. Their practices are not meant to provoke. They're rooted in intense discipline, with the goal of achieving spiritual liberation by confronting what others fear. The way they look, the way they live, and even the way they eat are all part of this path. They often hold tridents, skull bowls, and chant deep mantras that echo through the air, creating a presence that's hard to ignore. In a world where beauty is often about perfection and polish, the Aghori represent the extreme opposite: the raw, the wild, and the unfiltered. They challenge the very idea of what should be seen or celebrated. In the remote Omo Valley of southern Ethiopia, the women of the Mercy tribe wear one of the most striking and misunderstood symbols of beauty on earth: lip plates. These wide clay or wooden discs are inserted into the lower lip, gradually increasing in size over time. For the Mercy, this is not a trend or a costume, it's a powerful sign of identity, strength, and womanhood. Girls typically begin the process in their teenage years. A small cut is made and a tiny disc is inserted. Over time, larger plates are added and the lip stretches to accommodate them. Some women can wear plates over 4 inches wide. These aren't forced practices. Many women take pride in the look. It's their way of saying, "This is who I am Mercy," and it shows resilience, patience, and status within the community. The plates are beautifully decorated, often with carvings, patterns, and even personal touches that express individuality. The process may seem extreme to outsiders, but in Mercy culture, it's a form of empowerment. Larger plates can indicate maturity, readiness for marriage, or family honor. And while the plates attract attention globally, they hold deep cultural meaning locally. It's not just the plates that define Mercy beauty. Women shave their heads, wear bold earrings, paint their bodies with ash and natural pigments, and carry themselves with unmistakable confidence. In a world constantly shifting its beauty standards, the Mercy hold on to theirs with pride, turning what others might call unusual into something undeniably powerful. Deep in the Colombian Amazon, hidden beneath a canopy of endless green, live the Nukak, one of the last nomadic tribes in South America to come into contact with the outside world. For generations they moved silently through the forest, building no permanent homes, owning almost nothing, and surviving entirely off hunting, fishing, and foraging. Their world was made of trees, rivers, and sky, and that was enough. Even today the Nukak prefer to stay on the move. Their shelters are temporary, made from palm leaves and branches, just sturdy enough for a few nights before the journey continues. Men hunt monkeys and birds with blowpipes and poison-tipped darts, while women gather fruits, nuts, and wild plants with expert precision. They carry little, travel light, and rely completely on their knowledge of the jungle, a skill set that would put most survivalists to shame. Their appearance reflects their lifestyle, simple, natural, and perfectly adapted to the forest. Body paint made from crushed seeds and clay is worn during special occasions. Some wear handmade ornaments from feathers or carved wood, but decoration is minimal. Here, function comes first. Children learn early, not in classrooms but in the wild, where every leaf and footprint teaches something important. What makes the Nukak so fascinating isn't just their isolation. It's the fact that they've maintained a culture so untouched by modern habits. In a world where even the most remote places have Wi-Fi, the Nukak remind us that life can still exist in rhythm with the earth. Their way of life may be rare, but their connection to the natural world is something deeply human, and something the rest of the world is slowly starting to rediscover. Across the sun-baked deserts of Gujarat and Rajasthan, the Rabari people roam with their camels, dressed in colors that blaze against the dry earth. The men wear crisp white garments and bright red turbans, while the women dazzle in deep black veils, embroidered blouses, mirrored jewelry, and layers of silver. Wherever they go, they carry centuries of tradition, not just in stories, but in how they look, walk, and live. The Rabari are herders by trade and artists by spirit. Their clothing isn't just functional, it's expressive. Every stitch, color, and accessory has meaning. Women wear heavy nose rings and bangles that jingle with each step, turning even the simplest walk into a quiet performance. Their tattoos, drawn in geometric shapes across their arms and necks, mark life events and spiritual symbols passed down through generations. Despite modern pressures, the Rabari continue their nomadic lifestyle, guiding their flocks through open landscapes and sleeping under the stars. Their beauty is rooted in resilience, identity, and movement, not in trends. In a world rushing towards sameness, the Rabari remain boldly, beautifully different. From tree houses to reindeer saddles, clay masks to lip plates, you've now seen 15 of the most incredible tribes on Earth. Different worlds, different ways, but all with something unforgettable to share. Deep in the Indian state of Kerala, there's a small village that has left scientists scratching their heads for decades. In Kodinhi, almost every family has at least one pair of twins. Walking through the streets, you'll see children who look like perfect copies of each other everywhere. It's not a coincidence or a trick of the eye. This place has an unusually high number of twins, far more than anywhere else in the country. Nobody knows for sure why this is happening. Some say it's genetics, others believe it has something to do with the local water or diet. What's even stranger is that this pattern has only started in the last century. Before that, the village was just like any other. Now, with hundreds of twins being born, it has become one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in the world of science. Doctors have visited, researchers have run tests, but no one has found a clear answer. The locals don't seem too concerned though. They see it as a blessing, something special about their home. Weddings here often turn into reunions of nearly identical faces. Schools have classrooms full of children who look alike, making it a challenge for teachers to tell them apart. People in Kodini don't just accept their unusual situation, they celebrate it. They even hold events where twins from all over the village come together in matching outfits. It has turned their home into a place of curiosity, where visitors come hoping to understand what makes this village so different. Scientists may still be searching for answers, but for the people of Kodini, life goes on as usual, just with a lot more mirror images than anywhere else. Hidden in the rolling green hills of Brazil, there's a village unlike any other. Noiva do Cordeiro is home almost entirely to women. They run the farms, manage businesses, and make all the rules. Men are allowed to visit, but they don't stay long. This isn't just a group of women living together, this is a society built by and for them. For generations, the women of Noiva do Cordeiro have shaped their own way of life. They don't follow traditional gender roles. They make decisions as a group, ensuring that everyone has a voice. Life here is peaceful, organized, and full of cooperation. Outsiders who hear about the village often assume the women must be looking for husbands, but that's not the case. They value their independence and the balance they've created. The few men who do live here are either young boys or husbands who work elsewhere, only returning on weekends. The women say this setup works better for them. They don't have to deal with the social restrictions that often exist in other places. Instead, they focus on building a strong and supportive community. Their way of life has sparked curiosity, even disbelief, but for the women of Noiva do Cordeiro this is simply home. They grow their own food, celebrate their traditions, and continue to show the world that a society led by women can thrive in its own unique way. Scientists were stunned when satellite images revealed an uncharted island deep in the Pacific. A research team set out and made a discovery that seemed almost mythical, a society where only one man lived among dozens of women. Towering over them, he appeared to be their leader, protector, and perhaps something more. The islanders spoke no known language, their customs a mystery. How had such a society formed? No one knew, but one thing was certain. This was a world unlike any other. In the middle of Nebraska's endless plains, there's a town where the population sign doesn't need updating. It has read one for years. Manaui is the only officially incorporated town in the United States with just one resident. That resident is Elsie Eiler, an elderly woman who refuses to let her home disappear from the map. Elsie is the mayor, the bartender, the librarian, and the treasurer. Every year she submits the town's budget, pays taxes to herself, and renews her own liquor license to keep Manaui's only business running, a small tavern that she operates alone. Travelers and truckers who pass through stop by for a cold drink, a warm meal, and a chance to meet the woman who keeps an entire town alive by herself. Years ago, Manaui was a small but functioning town with families, schools, and stores. As jobs disappeared, people moved away, and eventually, it was just Elsie and her husband Rudy. When he passed away, she became the last person left. But instead of leaving, she stayed. She keeps Manaui going in his memory, tending to the library filled with Rudy's books and keeping the lights on in the town they built together. Most people can't imagine living alone in a town, but for Elsie, it's home. She enjoys the peace and the steady stream of visitors who come just to meet her. She laughs when asked if she ever gets lonely. After all, in Manaui, she's never really alone. There's always someone passing through, eager to hear her story and witness the smallest town in America still standing thanks to one remarkable woman. Nestled along Italy's southern coast, hidden between olive groves and the blue waters of the Mediterranean, lies a village where time seems to slow down. Acciaroli isn't just another picturesque Italian town, it's a place where people routinely live past 100, not just a few lucky ones but many. In a village of just a few thousand residents, an astonishing number of them are centenarians. Scientists have spent years trying to figure out their secret. Is it the diet? The locals eat fresh fish, homegrown vegetables, and plenty of rosemary, a herb known for its health benefits. Maybe it's their way of life. They don't stress over the future, they walk everywhere, they breathe in the clean sea air. Unlike in big cities, there's no rush, no traffic, no endless list of things to do. Life here follows the rhythm of the waves. Doctors have studied their blood, searching for some hidden genetic advantage, but the answer might be simpler than that. They just live differently. Many of the oldest residents have never set foot in a hospital. They don't count calories, they don't follow health trends, and yet, they reach 100 with ease. Some still work in their gardens, others take long walks through the hills. When asked about their longevity, most shrug. They drink wine, they laugh with friends, and they don't worry about things they can't control. In Acciaroli, old age isn't something to fear, it's just another stage of life, one that can last a very long time. But not every place is this peaceful. Just across the ocean there's a town where life couldn't be more different. A place where no one is in a hurry, because no one is allowed to leave. Deep in the heart of Bolivia, hidden behind thick stone walls, there is a place that looks like a town, but isn't. San Pedro Prison is unlike any prison in the world. There are no uniformed guards patrolling the hallways, no rows of cold metal cells. Instead, inside these walls you'll find homes, markets, even restaurants. Families live here, children run through the streets. But every single resident has one thing in common: they're prisoners. San Pedro doesn't function like a normal prison. Here, inmates don't just serve their sentences, they create a society of their own. They buy and sell goods, some run small businesses, others cook meals for their neighbors. Instead of being assigned a cell, prisoners have to buy or rent their own living space. The wealthiest have apartments with TVs and kitchens, while the poorest sleep in overcrowded rooms. Money determines everything. Those who can afford it live well, those who can't struggle just like they would outside. And then there are the families. Unlike in most prisons, inmates here can live with their wives and children. Kids grow up inside, play in the courtyards, and even leave for school each morning before returning at night. To them, San Pedro is home. Some of them have never known anything else, but life inside isn't easy. There are no official guards inside the prison walls. Order is maintained by the prisoners themselves, and those who break the unwritten rules face harsh consequences. It's a world of its own, a functioning society behind locked gates. Yet while San Pedro forces its residents to stay, there's another place far away where people live surrounded by water, drifting on handmade islands. Their homes don't have walls, and their village floats freely on a lake that has been their home for centuries. High in the Andes, where the air is thin and the mountains meet the sky, there is a lake so vast it seems endless. Lake Titicaca, the highest navigable lake in the world, holds a secret: entire villages that float on the water. The Euros people have lived here for centuries, not on land but on islands they build with their own hands. These islands are made of totora reeds, a plant that grows in the shallow waters of the lake. Layer by layer the reeds are stacked and tied together, creating a floating platform strong enough to hold houses, schools, and even watchtowers. Every few weeks fresh reeds are added on top, replacing the ones that rot beneath. It's constant work, but for the Euros it's life as usual. The people here rarely set foot on solid ground. They fish in the lake, cook in clay ovens placed on stone bases to avoid fires, and paddle small reed boats from island to island. Everything moves with the water. Even the islands themselves can be relocated if needed. In the past, this helped the Euros escape threats from rival tribes. Today it keeps their traditions alive in a changing world. Some islands welcome visitors, selling handcrafted goods and sharing their way of life. Others remain closed, preserving traditions passed down for generations. The Euros are not just surviving on the water, they have mastered it. Their villages may seem fragile, but they have endured for centuries, floating through time on the surface of the lake. But while the Euros built their home on water, far across the world, another isolated community chose a different path. One of stone, faith, and an unwavering rule that has stood for 1,000 years. On the northern coast of Greece, rising above the Aegean Sea, stands Mount Athos. It is not just a mountain but a world of its own, a place where time moves at a different pace. Here, in a collection of ancient monasteries, men have lived and prayed in isolation for over 1,000 years, and no woman has set foot here in all that time. The monks of Mount Athos follow strict religious traditions. They wake before dawn, spending their days in prayer, tending to gardens, and preserving manuscripts older than most nations. Life here is simple: no distractions, no outside noise, just devotion. They believe this isolation brings them closer to God. The rule forbidding women dates back to the 10th century and is enforced without exception. Even female animals are banned, except for cats, which help control the rodent population. Some have challenged the rule over the years, but the monks remain firm. To them, Mount Athos is a spiritual refuge, untouched by the outside world. Few outsiders ever step beyond its borders. Special permission is required, and only men can receive it. Those who visit find themselves in a place frozen in time, Byzantine frescoes cover the monastery walls, chants echo through stone corridors, and the outside world feels impossibly far away. For the monks, this life is a choice, a commitment to a way of living that has not changed for centuries. But not all isolated communities choose silence. In another remote village across the ocean, an entire town communicates in a way most people would never expect, without words, but with a language of their own. Tucked away in the jungles of Bali, there is a village where silence isn't a limitation, it's a way of life. Bengkala is home to an unusually high number of deaf residents, a rare genetic condition passed down for generations. But here, deafness is not seen as a disability. It is simply another way to exist. For centuries, the people of Bengkala have adapted, creating their own form of communication, Kata Kolak, a unique sign language developed entirely within the village. Unlike the sign languages used elsewhere in the world, this one was built specifically for the rhythms of life here. Everyone in Bengkala, whether deaf or hearing, uses it fluently. There is no division. A conversation between neighbors flows just as easily in gestures as it would in spoken words. Daily life carries on just as it does anywhere else. Farmers work in the fields, shopkeepers sell goods, children play in the streets. The only difference is that spoken words are not necessary. There are no honking car horns or loudspeaker announcements, just the sounds of nature and the quiet movements of people who have mastered a language of the hands. What makes Bengkala truly remarkable is its approach to inclusivity. In most societies, the deaf must adapt to the hearing world. Here, the hearing have adapted to the deaf. There is no stigma, no one is left out. In Bengkala, silence is not a barrier. It's just another voice in a village that listens with its eyes. Off the coast of Colombia, in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, lies a tiny island no bigger than 2 soccer fields. But what makes Santa Cruz del Islote truly astonishing isn't its size, it's the sheer number of people who call it home. With over 1,200 residents packed into an area less than 3 acres, it is one of the most densely populated places in the world. There are no cars, no roads, and barely any space between the buildings. Houses are squeezed together, their walls almost touching. Every inch of the island is used. Rooftops serve as extra living spaces, and tiny alleyways double as gathering spots. Despite this, the people of Santa Cruz del Islote have built a life filled with warmth and community. Everyone knows each other. Doors are always open, and meals are often shared. Life here is simple, but tough. There's no running water, and electricity is only available for a few hours a day. Supplies must be brought in from the mainland, and when the island gets too crowded, some families move to boats anchored nearby. Still, the people stay because Santa Cruz isn't just an island, it's home, passed down through generations. From the sky, Santa Cruz looks impossibly small, almost swallowed by the sea. But for those who live here, it is everything. There is no empty land to expand, no space to grow, but there is laughter, resilience, and a way of life that thrives against the odds. Yet while the residents of Santa Cruz welcome visitors with open arms, there is another island far away where outsiders are met with silence, and sometimes, hostility. Deep in the Indian Ocean, hidden behind walls of dense jungle and surrounded by dangerous reefs, lies an island frozen in time. North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. For thousands of years they have remained isolated, resisting every attempt at outside contact, and they will do whatever it takes to keep it that way. No one knows exactly how many Sentinelese live on the island. No one knows their language, their traditions, or their way of life. What is known is that they want nothing to do with the outside world. When helicopters fly overhead, they shoot arrows. When boats drift too close, they charge the shores with weapons raised. Even when natural disasters have struck, such as the 2004 tsunami, they have remained, untouched, unchanged. The Indian government has declared the island off-limits. No one is allowed to set foot there. In the past, a few explorers and fishermen have ignored the warnings, only to disappear. Those who did survive described a place untouched by modern civilization, where the people live as they did thousands of years ago. The Sentinelese don't just avoid the world, they actively push it away. In an age where technology connects almost every corner of the planet, this small island remains an impenetrable mystery. No photos, no recordings, no stories told by outsiders, just the thick jungle, the silent figures watching from the trees, and the knowledge that some places are not meant to be disturbed. But while North Sentinel Island remains untouched, there is another place where people live at the mercy of nature. A land that is disappearing year by year, sinking beneath the water, forcing its residents to watch as their home slowly vanishes. In the Bay of Bengal, where the river meets the sea, there is an island that is fighting a battle it cannot win. Goramara, a small village in India's Sundarbans region, is vanishing bit by bit, swallowed by the rising tides. Every year the island shrinks. Every year more homes are lost, and one day, it may disappear completely. For decades, the people of Goramara have watched their land erode. Fields that once grew rice are now underwater. Roads have turned into muddy paths leading to nowhere. Some families have already left, forced to abandon the place their ancestors called home. Others stay, holding on to what little remains, refusing to surrender to the sea. The villagers do what they can, building walls of sandbags, reinforcing the shore with bamboo barriers. But the ocean always returns, taking more with each wave. Scientists say the island could be gone within a few decades, but to those who still live here, Goramara is not just a piece of land. It is their history, their identity, their last connection to a world that is slowly washing away. Each year, the island grows smaller, and each year, the people who remain wonder if this will be their last. They are fighting against something far bigger than themselves, yet they refuse to leave without a fight, because to them, Goramara is not just disappearing, it is still their home. Deep in the arid plains of Kenya, far from the reach of traditional society, stands a village where men are not welcome. Umoja, which means unity in Swahili, is a place built by women, for women. It was founded as a sanctuary, a place where those escaping forced marriages, domestic violence, and societal restrictions could start anew. Here women don't just survive, they thrive, proving that a community can function entirely on its own terms. There are no husbands, no male authority figures. Every decision is made collectively, from farming and security to trade and education. The women raise livestock, sell handmade crafts, and welcome visitors interested in learning about their way of life. Children grow up in a society where they see women in every leadership role. For them, this is normal. Occasionally, men from nearby villages try to challenge Umoja, upset by its existence. Some have attempted to reclaim their wives, others have tried to intimidate the women into leaving. But Umoja stands firm. The women protect each other, reminding the world that strength doesn't always come from physical power. It comes from unity, resilience, and the refusal to be controlled. While Umoja is a place of warmth and community, another village on the opposite side of the world is defined by something much harsher: cold. A place where the air can freeze skin in seconds, where metal sticks to bare hands, and where only the toughest survive. Far from Kenya's sun-baked lands, deep in the Russian wilderness, lies a town where winter never truly ends. Oymyakon is the coldest permanently inhabited settlement on the planet. In the dead of winter, temperatures here plunge to -80 degrees Fahrenheit. Cars left outside must run all night or their engines will freeze solid. Eyelashes turn to ice. Breathing in too deeply can make lungs ache. Yet people live here. They fish in frozen rivers, raise cattle, and send their children to school even when the air is colder than the surface of Mars. Life in Oymyakon is not for the weak. There are no grocery stores stocked with fresh produce. Food must be hunted, fished, or stored for months. Most homes rely on wood-burning stoves, and electricity can be unreliable. Despite the brutal conditions, the people here are used to it. They laugh at the idea of cold weather warnings seen in other countries. To them, this is normal. They wear thick fur coats, keep warm with hot soups and tea, and continue their lives as if the rest of the world wasn't watching in amazement. For all its hardships, Oymyakon has something few places can offer: stunning, untouched beauty. The snowy forests stretch endlessly, the night sky glows with stars, and the rivers freeze into sheets of crystal. But if the cold ever becomes too much, there is one place where escaping the elements means going underground, literally. In the middle of Australia's scorching outback, where the sun burns relentlessly and the ground cracks from heat, there is a town that has learned to escape the elements in an unusual way. Coober Pedy is not like other places, because most of it is underground. This small mining town is famous for its opals, some of the most valuable gemstones in the world. But with temperatures often reaching 110 degrees Fahrenheit, life above ground is unbearable. So the residents built homes, churches, and even hotels beneath the earth, carving entire neighborhoods into the cool rock. Walking through Coober Pedy feels like stepping into another world. There are underground restaurants, museums, and bars. Tourists who visit can sleep in hotels dug into the rock, where the temperature stays cool year-round, no air conditioning needed. Above ground, the landscape is barren, resembling the surface of Mars. There are no trees, no rivers, just miles of desert stretching to the horizon. But despite the extreme conditions, people love it here. The miners continue their search for opals, families raise their children in underground homes, and the town remains a symbol of human adaptability. When the land refuses to cooperate, Coober Pedy proves that sometimes the best way to survive isn't to fight nature, it's to work around it. Deep in the Amazon, hidden from the modern world, a tribe exists unlike any other, a tribe of only men. No one knows exactly how this happened. Some say disease wiped out the women, others believe they were taken by rival tribes. Whatever the truth, these men have survived alone for generations. They hunt, build, and pass down their traditions. But without women, their future is uncertain. One day their way of life may vanish, leaving only whispers of a tribe that lived and disappeared deep in the jungle. That's about it. Write in the comments which place surprised you the most. For more useful information, watch other videos.